All right. Um, you're welcome to another edition of the Hits Afric Radio UK, the news file. What we bring to you normally, most of the time on Friday, concerning all the events over the week. I can see Chairman Yosin. Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
How
Dr.
are you?
Morton, and how are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm very well. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
It's my pleasure.
For those of you who would come late, I'm going to get you to add up to Chairman so you can help us bring down most of the issues. What is happening this morning is another Fix the Country episode. I don't know the number of times we want to do this before the government pay heed to us, but the question has always been whether the country takes its citizen and those living abroad and the diaspora seriously. If you recall the number of counts or the number of times we've had this demonstration, as far as I'm concerned, it's coming out to about 4 or 5. The ones we've had in Ghana, the ones we've had here. If you just join us, viewers, this is Hits Afric Radio. My name is Dr. Morton. We're live. You can share, and then you can reach our communication team for adverts and publicity, especially if you want any of your events publicized. And this morning, I've got Chairman Yosin, who is the PPP UK and Ireland chapter, the chairman of in the UK. Good morning, sir. Back again. This morning, you must have read through what I've put together, even in Parliament, the resignation or trying to get this man off its role as the finance minister is causing chaos or abstractly it's causing what we call something difficult to happen as far as I'm concerned. May I look at your view? First of all, I know the Ukraine, which seems to be the national or international news. The Ukrainians were jubilating because it seems to have come to an end. But I recall there's some dead bodies that were being collected. We seem to be much concerned about where we're coming from. So let's start off with ours first. Chairman, how do you see our country and the problem we have with leadership, first of all?
Oh, good morning once again, and I would say hello to all listeners. We've gathered here for the sake of our country, Ghana. How I see how our country is going, quite clearly, the NPP administration is seriously struggling to make sense out of what they are doing. And they have given us no choice than to wait patiently until December 2024. That would be a very long wait. We do not see them performing to the best of their capacities in terms of the staff they got or the MPs or the officials they have. Our country is just going backwards. There is no hope for us and our children and the grandchildren in the nearest future. There's no hope. So my wish for them, for this government, is a prayer for them to get their acts correct because they are confused, they have lost it, and genuinely they can call for a general election. That's the best way. If not, they must try to correct so many mistakes that they have come to created for themselves. This is a big argument which serious Ghanaians must get involved for us to find a better way out of it, because the opportunities are there for us. They are insulting us. And in fact, to quote a British parliamentarian or minister, the NPP is taking Ghanaians for fools, believing that we do not have feelings, or believing that we don't even realize that they are struggling or they are making bad mistakes. And it's not fair for us all. They are not defending us as Nanado promised us in 2017. that day when he took up his sword at the Black Star Square, taking an oath of office, he promised to support Ghanaians, but he's gone back to that assurance he gave to us. Apart from MPP folks who are okay and happy in Ghana, all other people are not happy in Ghana. And we don't want any sudden changes. That's why I said it's my hope that they can get the act together seriously so that the poorest soul in Ghana would have some hope well before we go to 2024 general elections. This is a serious matter, which I hope, Dr. Morton, your listeners would not take it just as a political talk, but as a serious suggestion and talk and question. At the moment, we doubt, my party, Progressive People's Party, we doubt their sufficiency in whatever they are doing. We doubt. They must reshuffle. We need a reshuffling in Ghana, government administration, and let's see the better way forward. Because once you are not reshuffling, people in NPP administration who've got brilliant ideas, they are not going to come forward with it. They are waiting until something happens before they come in. But I'm calling on behalf of my party, the Progressive People's Party. I'm calling, or we are calling for a reshuffling of the present NPP administration in our country to steer Ghana in the right path, because we are going the wrong way. We are going the opposite direction. There's no development. There's no hope for us.
That reminds me of your idea of wishing that all these parties merge and come together, like the CPP and the PPP. Do you think it still will be capable enough to stand these two very giant parties, if you want?
Oh, thank you. That's the best question that I have to answer. At the moment, we, the parties, CPP, Conventional People's Party, PNC, People's National Convention, and PPP, Progressive People's Party, we are all agreed and talking about forming a coalition for the general elections of 2024. And when that happens, the support that we will have,
Chairman,
we place it in a...
I've gotten a free on the line with where they're doing the demonstration this morning. And I'm just going to look at the updates as to how the atmosphere is there. Pania Free, Pacho, good morning.
You change the language. It seems you change the language. Please, just be consistent.
Right. But we okay. We okay. But Pacho say. Yeah, between who na your person who says, say no, a dear pa and a coso a war, baby, I'm war because when said, why, when you be a bit to say war and say, you can't say, and I have Bobonum, oh my, you must chase and that is umpire. Na a nipper do saying, or her a nipper apapa, sabe, more a pagan a year, no, nipper papa, and I won't try, but I wouldn't say Ghana, dear. We will see your child and Yana acquires a will be set on a tap. But the chairman of Catadi, but saying, yeah, no, yeah, I won't cry. The door now, so I won't pump, sir. And never was and system, you tell her, and you see this, name of the new panel, or Mobama Bush, because I'm a small scale man and another illegal money now. A month for Yen Ghana is here. Every news you say a quiet, every you know by any pie, almost so in Yari, and Nika was it here, and yes, I may expect it. I was in the Panama. Oh, okay. Yo, na, yeah, person who say, and camera Smith me your video at Nene and Kaya, who Eugenia, baby, Eugenia, and Kaya Camrano, a PK if you. Tis obeying a year. My video can America between the camera and pick it. It not be an Sunday Econoana. Is answer Okay. In the camera, the be who lanka. A faint kakra, and so. And I'm a producer bedroom light in your area. Yes, I should be with the lanky who would not be a baby. I want to lanky who near go. Yeah. Aha, okay. You won't pepe. Nah, Sam said, you won't baby original. Okay. Ain't see, aha, you won't say, hey, there's a month when you're blue, but who's a beauty with you, Mikita, placas, don't answer for. Hey, Sabato me now hobby. My home penny for no do. Sa, my home penny for no do. Enti, I no pay, me chess it, a dear pan a month for Eka. Right. Okay. Me hope why you was first no watch it. When you easy crowd to pay. Okay. Now, me person who said, "But I am ben pa ni jina sa ichi ichi. Because my the best and pred na was some prendum. A mu Ghana dear at a hadie, and so near tianity." Okay. Okay. Me who ni na pepe. So much did them and Colana did them. Yo, na manya and pennyphony dear, Sabe, you bet to be no more than come apart from water. Me who know, you wouldn't pepe. Yo, Openi, Yachiawo, my hand of pay, my chill. Okay, no problem. We really appreciate that. So, first of all, we want to say good morning to you, please. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. Yo. Yeah, that's it, P. Penny. But okay. Okay. That's it. Ah. Okay.
China,
okay. Oh dear.
So we be say not the wire aqua. Almost
Yo. Yate. Yate. Yo. Aha. Hey, Sabato. Salamu alaikum. Salamu alaikum. Yes, that's right. Salamu alaikum. Boko, salamu alaikum. Yo, Sabato. Bongo de Allah. You can't say, what will say that dear Mujina say, no, atmosphere, no, minimum wom kakra. But me gidi say, any pandom na eba, na what dear, wakwaye, and penny for you be dear. Ubet you a catch any and see my bunch and quack, you know how to pay, Pacho.
And as water is life, you know. Now, and we say, and the year in you better die, ya torn on ya better to Suko Atra by singing without or what actually say the air cosona, you Suni and Sas, the environment, you know. You media, you will you can answer your ninja.
Okay.
And probably you open to me, I have one, and the Wahad. It's called demonstration. If we are why don't you? And I will say,
yo. Yo, now apart from Galamsey, no, a dear Ben, a Galamsey and Kwa was some any Yamwana.
Oh, and that is a Buddha, and yeah, a man of them facing. Mamma in the capacity to send me Mamma in the capacity to send me and this is school person. No, I came here today all because I'm a Ghanaian, Mikogana, Menumusu, Mewa, Mabusia for Madofonum, for name them. A big hour more Ghana. It's the end of the Bahadum say, my man say a party. We are all in the name said. Galam say, yes, you are excellent. My wound to mean and call for Charles Bissunum, echo where we see no professor from Port Guatinum, and Jessica, a man called for sight. I'm all didn't say a Galam say. And we see, and I'm a bit of you about on say, or some men so made them a hobby because me, I will say, and I could pardon the best achievement. Among us, and it's organizing a lot of demonstrations, both foreign and home. The young one, the fight, and I know president to me a demonstration. You will put that there. Papa Kutuan Kuma, on the Tina Ghana name, Yukano. Why your demonstration, the brain? I'm so winning out, I say. And Tianutin, I may have a shame where I mean, Dr. Mon.
Okay, yo. Maybe put your have a person they come on, if you are free and I want Casa, then you yam on them when you eat them. Almost pray almost time, even if it's 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, almost pray almost now, this important message, you know, all what they are sending across to Nana Kupado as a president. Now, you say, all right. Yo, a free or have patch up many open here for you, Nelly, me double quite. Yo. Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Oh, good morning, sir. Doctor, I'm paying my question. Sorry, I'm watching because I did a 2 o'clock. Before I'm not a demonstration,
okay.
As a Ghanaian, if I'm home, and you miss me by the chairman.
Now, Penny and Frost say, the patch of Frost say. Yo, open it to us, some patcho. So, Sabi, I want to wait to me, and I will see Cano, want to me, FSS, my body brown, what you say, because I got a penny 40 as you say, we are minister, now go China airport, toilet clinic, where we are here. As the Chinese for, I will do me, I will you grow. That's left trade, you know, say you fear, and then I acquire as a baby. After one say, I said, you know, I say, Bibiano. After a night, I said the two and say, it's your Samo, your second and penny for you, with our age, you know, your name is not Akaye. Now, we are money and not more, and only a main problem. It's your second and penny for Omon drink, that's a session, you know, my corner. And so now, I know, you're the neighbor. Just so you need a free and decent treatment at our hospital. Bibia Omutia. You won't be one on Kayaka, maybe I want and can fire home. But you know what Ghana no. I'm over into your second and penny for one dream in my home. Then you tell me I'm moving, Namutia, if you want some Condia, Ghana for you, I'm to me. And you was soon I'm assuming you're not on the Omakono, and yet. When you scar, nobody break nobody is in my who called Dubai. Arab country be a new one beneath a way need because somebody could be needing answer. And I ask my uncle was saying, what's a new answer? Because when you funny seeker, and my Africans are overseas in my interest. All right. Yo.
Africans over near Juma. And see, we are a sticker now, and they are brave brody from overseas in my. I don't have a body almost before you, Jimmy. It's your Samo. What is Canabana? I have just a Sika Abrochino. But also, who said what to me? It's your Sly and Penny for the third year, Sonia Musa in Solo. And your piano, your Gardenia. Sika brought the Petrian, you open your beauty. The football was on the Sika Accra and Solo one. And Kapai was on the end. So, swallowing now, I guess I was off.
All right. Yo. Yeah, that's CP. Let's make that CP Openi Ebenezer. Yo, a free Openi Cassia. Only the demonstration in our baby and more sabri. Openi Bibio Akawa was what they come on. Sans a minute about to Kasayan. Watch as I said, yet moyano. A potia a Jima Kutne a year galamse nasemno. But Niaka Sabi, a duo maniano, and no ancient and Yamuana. Yo, and yeah, you're free, and I ain't not soon when your first walk. Yo, hey, sir, when you have a true, yes, Yamu. Ah, okay. Yo, now let me be say, a fat a galamse ne insuna will say no. Maybe party you or and also hiamo, and as I say, a year children, a fat Musio ne galamse no more. I don't. Illegal mining, because I don't know I don't have a magana at house. The Aka matters. Yo, now that galamse, you're to trust that there's another old dying book. Who feel book, the clothing in a book, man for a so overcorners is a woman on a chemical jump or soon as will be able to Ghana or Ghana. Sir, the kind of politics and I say near the Matasaba. Work up on a crab last up, walk on a Granaka, Carmen Qua, Canadian so when you demonstration, Tiana Galapsino, wake up. All right. Go to opposition, also wake up. Abra Jada Abra will come for you, show my day, the chemicals is sell. Abra China for sale forest, and sell will buy. Let you know, Massa crab brown, no one walk up, and I crab at free, China, near the Abaya Galley or Ghana. Now just a wake up, Okobo, Charlie. Yo, and that's it. Yo, and that's it. I mean, shout opening. All right, bye. Right. So thank you very much. Yeah, opening a free. I just spoke to Afrie, who is the UK and Ireland chapter. Now, Chairman, back to you. You heard all that went on, I suppose.
Yes, I did.
Now, the highest petition of what is happening this morning. I know there are varieties of them, but what is happening now? May I know who is this? I've got a caller. Yeah, hello. Good morning. Hello.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Thank you. May I know who's this, please?
Sir, I am calling you from 3G.
Sorry. This is the radio station. I'll call you back, please. Right, Chairman. Sorry about that. Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you have.
In fact,
it appears
I thank our brothers and sisters who have gone to Belgrave Square to present a petition about our water bodies being destroyed because of galamsey that our government has not been able to address to this day. One of the dangerous things that I know, and we all know, is taking place, is that consumption of the water, the damaged water bodies, especially by pregnant women, makes them be delivered of children, babies with disability, and that is very serious. The whole body, 100% of the body, most of them are not there. Some are born without fingers or toes and nails and all that. These are dangerous. We know. Ghanaians, we are aware of this. We are aware of this. NPP top administrators, top officials, some of them engage in saying they think they are authorized people to be doing legal mining and all that. But we know the hazards in that. It's not good for any human being. Not so good, but it's surprising that up until this date, we have not been able to resolve that issue. I'm not blaming NPP administration alone. I'm also blaming NDC past administration as well. Scientifically, it's not good for all of us. It's not good to drink from such water, especially those of us who come from villages and bush areas. We have no choice than to drink this water and face deformities in our own lives or in the lives of our babies to be born or babies unborn. It's as simple as that. We must stop that. We are not. The government must take action to ban galamsey throughout. You don't see that in the United Kingdom, where we live. If you see a river here in the UK, Thames water is clean water. And we used to have such a quality of water in Ghana. But because of galamsey, they are all colored. Yellow water, that looks like coffee with milk in it. It's very dangerous. Praia River, all the big rivers, Water River, all the rivers in Ghana, they are destroyed. So when shall we be awake enough to realize that we are doing wrong and correct these things? It's very dangerous. So I hope that the petition being sent by our brothers and sisters today to the Ghana embassy, I hope that petition will reach the president and his ministers.
Okay.
I'm only praying. It's a matter of just hoping and praying and expecting that God would bless us for our president and his men and women to listen for once and ban galamsey immediately. One of the best ways, I believe, it's open to them to ban the incidents or the galamsey activity is to legislate to stop it, make it illegal, even today, as soon as possible, and get our armed forces.
Yes,
get our armed forces and the police to monitor, to patrol these acts of galamsey. I have to be honest.
Doesn't our leaders know the damage they cause to river bodies or our water bodies with the effect?
They know, but being Africans, we delay in doing things. As Africans, we do so many things we know are wrong, but we keep on doing until probably we have the white people to come and rule us again, and for them we respect their orders and authorities. But Africans, undergoing authorities or direction from fellow Africans, we think they don't. That's why no leader in Ghana has succeeded in banning these until we use brutal force to stop such people. Until serious penalties are applied if anyone is arrested. But Ghana is such a place that even if you are arrested, somebody will go and see a judge somewhere privately, bribe them, and you are no longer jailed or know that a criminal. But it's something that all of us have to take it up. And I thank the brothers and sisters who have spent their time to go to demonstrate. May God bless them. And I hope this time Ghana government will listen.
Okay. Now, should the thankfully PPP comes to power, all these parties you're looking forward to emerge together to come to power, how are you going to deal with the galamsey issue?
Oh yeah, thank you very much. If we have the power, we shall make it open. We shall make it open and legislate against galamsey immediately. I know some have received some forms of licenses, but we are going to really clear all of them aside, brush them aside, and make sure we make it illegal immediately we have the authority to do so. I happen to be born in an area where gold mining is still taking place. It's called Takwa. It used to be state gold mining,
Right.
whatever. The Takwa gold mines, Abuasi and Konongo and Pristia gold mines are the efficient one, legal ones. You go deep down, God knows how many miles down the earth, underneath the earth, to dig the gold out. But these days it's cheap. They get it on surfaces and all that. That is
Did
what
you
is
ever
killing
try
us.
that yourself?
So,
How did you know that how it works? How did you know? Did you ever try galamsey?
Gamse,
Yes.
I've only heard about it since 1992. I've never seen one before. But these days, they say it's surface, it's not too deep. As I know, that a genuine gold mines is deep down. God knows how many miles you got to go down to dig the gold. That's a genuine way of extracting gold. But on the surfaces or digging and destroying water bodies, that's the difference
So,
between
what-
destroying the water bodies and going down underground. In Takwa, we call it underground. This man works in underground. Underground, you go deep down and dig and find the gold. But here, these days, they are destroying our water bodies and think that they are doing mining. This is small scale mining. This must be banned. We got scientists in Ghana. That we got advisors in Ghana. The Ghana government must get all of them together for them to advise us as a nation to stop that practice. It's a practice that kills. And unfortunately, one, there's unemployment in Ghana is very high. And so in Ghana today, the young ones or anybody who is unemployed would try every means to get money. And knowing that illegal mining brings millions and millions of cedis or pounds,
right.
that's what they go for. But if the government encourage the creation of jobs in the country, most people will not focus on galamsey.
Oh,
It's
right.
it's a dangerous thing that we all need to speak against, especially the churches. The
Okay.
churches in Ghana, they must
Right.
help us, not just politicians. They
Okay.
must help us
So, Chairman,
to stop galamsey.
as I was saying, the number of times we had this demonstration, this time around, it's about the galamsey. Unfortunately, we have some of our MPs and all that in this practice, which is not helping us. When to me, for example, his name has come up. It has to being, kind of Japan. There are quite a few who even believe all these men of the MPP group are still operating and the carpet with it. Something that they are behind all these practices. According to Chairman Kennedy Japan himself, he said he knows very well that some of his colleagues are doing these things, and then as bold as he is, he wouldn't keep quiet to say them boldly. Before I come to you, Joe, let Chairman finish this, and I'll look at your version on how you see this worrying issue. Chairman, what about those who are supposed to rather, make sure these practices are not happening and still backing them behind?
Yeah, that they are the most dangerous people on earth as far as Ghana is concerned. We belong to the international community. And I would rather appeal even to the international community to ban Ghana in certain areas. International community is the only one within the United Nations to ban us from practicing galamsey in Ghana and putting lives at risks and expecting the developed countries to pay for our diseases and illnesses and stuff like that. It's about time now that we appeal to international community to do this for us, because Ghanaians would on the NDC or NPP would never take us anywhere as far as the stoppage of the galamsey is concerned. Because you remember a few years ago, the tractors that were used in galamsey went through the thin air and up till until this date, we don't know who has stolen the tractors and all that
Oh dear.
that were used for Galamsey. This as an example. Ghana government itself, MPP administration has never come to tell us they found the tractors here and there because their own officials, I should say, are still engaged in Galamsey.
Okay.
That's as
Right.
they've got to start from themselves. They have to confess and get out of that business. But they give the capital, they finance the acquisition of capital equipment to be doing Galamsey. It's very
Okay.
dangerous for all of us. I was once going to Kumasi and I saw the River Pra. River Pra was turning to yellow and no longer a clean river or water to drink. You cannot.
Yes.
In those days, you could drink. But yet today, if you see that yellow thing with the dangerous chemicals in that, you cannot afford to drink it.
Yes. Anyway,
We can only hope to God that this can be resolved. But my party coming together, the PNC, PPP, CPP coming together, we are coming to turn the scales down on their head. We will make sure this is stopped and banned forever.
all right, Chairman. Thank you very much. I've got Joe, my brother, who just joined us with the conversation of today's topic, especially about Nanado's idea of not being able to remove Ken Oforiatta, who is the finance minister. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Doc. And
How
good
are you?
morning, Mr. Kitiosin.
Good morning, Joe. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well by God's grace. I hope you guys are also doing well.
Yeah, we're doing very well. Thank you.
Well, thank you. You're looking at the Galamsey issue that is getting out of hands, and the ones issues bothering us. For now, we're tackling the Galamsey. Do you think is another thing to deal with?
First of all, thank you very much, and a very good morning to you. Regarding the issue of and let me also acknowledge the fact that we need to be grateful to God for yet another episode of the Hit Radio, morning show. You've labeled it the UK Newsfile, so it's very important.
All right,
We
thank
show
you.
appreciation. The Galamsey issue and matters arising. You see, Mr. Kitiosin made a brilliant submission on that, and you see the
Okay.
issue has to do with the political will. And unfortunately, in this regard, both the NDC and the MPP lack that political will, because in certain quarters, the issue of Galamsey is used in campaigning. There are those who go there and say, look, I am not coming to ban Galamsey. Because you know what? The primary job of the people in that area is just that Galamsey. So the moment you go there and say you are coming to destroy Galamsey, they will not vote for you. So the best way to get the vote is for you to convince them enough that, look, you will not come and destroy their main job. And so the point is that how well have political parties devised a plan in making sure that areas that lack job and that their only reason to work is to do Galamsey. Their only means of surviving is to do Galamsey. What plan have we devised for these people so that when you go there and say, look, stop Galamsey, they would heed to that call?
Yeah, but you're not saying that because they don't have any other option than this thing, they should stick to Galamsey. That's not what you're saying.
You see, Doc, being someone who had come from an area and even being a beneficiary of this Galamsey thing, I would disagree a lot. I am not a kind of in tune with what is happening, especially with the environmental destruction that is going on with the Galamsey.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, and you see, we need to look at, the Galamsey thing, we need to look at it in two perspectives. There is those that involve a heavy equipment kind of Galamsey, and that is the one that Chemahun to me and those people are doing. But growing up in Prestia, where my uncle and my brothers and my friends were doing Galamsey, we call it a gather and sell or whatever it used to be. That is where you go. When your gutter gets full, You remove the sand from that
Yes.
gutter, put it at one side, close one end of the gutter, close another end of the gutter, fill it with water, and you wash that sand that you took from the gutter.
Okay.
You understand? That is the galamsey we used to know. My uncle and all of them, they used to do.
Okay, so Joe, let me ask you this. I don't know whether you like to put this on as to whether you've practically gotten involved in the galamsey business before.
I have. There is no shame in saying
I
it.
like
I
your
have.
confidence. Thank you very much. And
I've been involved.
were you equally saying that you didn't have any option of surviving than just get involved?
Well, you see, I got involved way back in 2001, right? I had completed school at that time. I had gained admission to St. Augustine's College. Kufuor had come to close down the mining company that was employing over 3,000 people. My father got laid off, and I have gained admission to St. Augustine's College. There is no money to pay for my admission fee. What do you want me to do? I will have to engage in something that will get me money to pay my admission fee to get to school. And that was how I got involved in the galamsey thing. And then also, when you've laid down over 3,000 to 5,000 people, we are only talking about the 3,000 people who have been laid off. We are not combining their family members, because my father had a wife and 4 kids. That makes how many? 5 people.
That's right.
6 rather. So you are looking at 3,000 plus, if even everyone had 1 wife and 1 kid.
Right.
So you multiply it by 2.
Okay.
So you are looking at almost over 9,000 people at home doing nothing. What do you expect them to do? They have to find ways of surviving. I am not in any way condoning the galamsey that is destroying the land. But what I'm trying to say is that, look, we cannot just be going about talking about galamsey, oh, galamsey, oh, galamsey. Oh, you live in UK, when you wake up, you get a job to go to. If the people don't have job to do, what do you want them to do? Do you think, doctor, you think everyone who wakes up and pick up a gun to be on the street to do armed robbery, he knows his life is at risk? Do you think everybody loves to do that? It is us. You see, John Paul Lederach, an advocate in peaceful solution and order, he said the only option left for someone without any option is to engage in violence. So the only option left with anyone without any job is to do the galamsey. That is the problem. So, in as much as, look, the Chairman to me have taken it to a different level, which we need to look at it. But then, you see, when you go to, and I have always said this, look, I have always said, when there is a problem, it is not always the usual thing where we think we bring in MPP, NDC, come and sit down there and talk. We need to be engaging, because the act of having a radio session or a TV session is to educate people. But in Ghana, when there is a problem, we think knowledge and sense and intellectualism lies in the head of only MPP and NDC people. And that is our problem. Because when there is a problem, you need to engage the people who have knowledge about this. We are talking about galamsey. If you go to Dumasi today as I speak, Dumasi, from Bogoso, Dumasi to Pristia, Dumasi, they cannot eat plantain or cassava. You know why? It is not galamsey. It is surface mining that was brought by Kufuor. The Kufuor, you said he was the best president ever. He brought surface mining. Dumasi, nobody can eat cassava or plantain. Somebody should challenge me, and we can buy ticket and go and investigate. If Chairman Kitty Olsen has stayed in Takwa, how did the name cyanide come about? He can tell us. The cyanide. It wasn't galamsey that brought cyanide to Takwa. Ask him. You understand? So it is not only the galamsey, the surface mining. I was part of the people with the Wasa Association of Communities Affected by Mining, WACAM. We fought against surface mining when they were going to mine.
In your idea, do you think it can come down as long as they're not being provided with the options of job? You think they're still going to stick to galamsey?
Doc, it is a yes and a no answer. But
I only need one answer.
My issue is that there is a climate change that just went underway in Cairo, COP27. And the Galamsey issue is part of the thing. And like Mr. Kitiosen said, you cannot be doing Galamsey to destroy the land and go and tell developed world to forgive your debt because you think you are not doing enough to have an impact on the climate. But you're having a surface man, you are having Kusi chair, you are having BDA, and you come and tell me you are not contributing to the destruction of the environment. But who is doing the Kusi chair and who is doing the Galamsey and who is doing the BDA? You see, we need to be responsible for our actions. And so if we want to have this Galamsey thing resolved, the best thing for us is that, look, there are areas mining companies have used which they are no longer using. Let us train people. The small scale mining, nobody can get rid of the small scale mining, and that is a fact. Nobody, because you are looking at almost over 100,000 people involved in the small scale mining. Nobody is going to get rid of it. So let us look at how we can train people to do it with the best practices. If you look at Dr. Solomon Owusu, who is a mining advocate and all that, he's been showing videos of how mining is done in America and waters are clear like anything. Can't we have that training? Can't we have people trained in that way that they can also do the mining? Because since the government cannot provide jobs, the best way is the land that is not used, and we can have this Galamsey or the small scale mining on. Let us train people to do the Galamsey on. Because we cannot have almost of a government providing job for the 100,000 people who are involved in Galamsey. Even the NABCO people, they can't pay them. How much more if you bring 100,000 people into the government payroll? What is going to happen? So we need to, like I said, devise a plan. We just don't talk about Galamsey without providing a livelihood alternative.
Solution to it, yes.
There has to be an alternative provided. Because, Doc, you sitting there, if they say BBC is messing about, so all media houses have to be closed down. There should be no media in the UK. But the messing that BBC is doing, you are not doing the same messing. You are not part of that mess. How can they just shut you down? You understand? The best thing is to regulate it and provide certification. People who have gone through the mill to have a proper training, we give them certification. And then there has to be a political will that the certificate is not going to go about, because you are an NDC and because you are an NDC, you know the Minerals Commission officer, and for that matter, they need to give you certificate at all costs, go and mine. Or because you are an MPP, we need to, and so at all costs. Because since when the chairman want to enter into Galamsey? Since when? All of a sudden, MPP comes to power, chairman want to me displaying gold everywhere, left, right, and center.
Yes.
You
That's the impression we get, as if they are just above the law. Like if you mention the name of Chairman Wontumi, for example, I mean, if you listen to the demonstration we had here, I was speaking to quite a few of them who feel that, listen, for now, we can let any other thing rest, but what we need to deal with now is the Galamsey. It's become an issue of priority, you understand? Because it becomes the pivot of human life, yeah.
It is Ghana's attitude and Ghana's culture. Today, and last time I did say this to you, mark it on the wall. Today, people are making noise about Galamsey because they want to be prominent, they want to be noticed, they want to be seen. Give yourself the next 2 weeks and hear who will talk about Galamsey.
Forget about it. And no longer talk about Galamsey.
You understand? Okay. When an issue crops up, we jump into sensationalism and make a whole lot. But you ask yourself, all these people talking about Galamsey, ask them, so what is the solution? Yes, the environment is getting destroyed. We all don't like it. I don't like it. But what is the solution?
Let me come back to Chairman anyway. Since you've kept the same issue going as to, if there's a solution, something to deal with, that would, get these people from mining the Galamsey. Chairman, I hope maybe you got up, but according to Joe, these people cannot survive the hunger and all these things that is going on to Ghana. And it doesn't seem like there are other options of work to say that, okay, we can offer you this work, so you stop Galamsey. And so the word Galamsey becomes the only choice one has.
Yeah, thank you. This is a very tricky, not question, a tricky situation we have in Ghana. To be quite honest with you, Ghana is not different from any other country in the whole of world. And we cannot take the laws into our own hands. We cannot.
Yes.
Otherwise, we would do anything. I mean, for instance, you can get a gun and shoot people you disagree with. You can get a knife and cut to pieces people you disagree with. You can do galamsey and get money because you haven't got a job. The reason for galamsey is lack of employment. Joe has said it, and it is true. If you remember, in some interviews with you specifically a few years ago, what did I not say? We were talking about armed robbers, and I told you there are graduates who were involved in armed robbery. One, they haven't got jobs. Two, the amount of money they have invested in going in education up to university level, graduating, having a degree, and coming home to sit on your hands, doing nothing. As a man or as a woman, you're of age to get married and have children. And if, as a man, if you have marry and get children, you cannot have money to look after them. So people are prompted to do illegal things, to have money to look after their family, such as galamsey. Such as galamsey. Unemployment. Necessity has been the mother of invention. Necessity, lack of funds has been the mother of inventing other means of getting money, and galamsey is chief above all of them. I understand. Maybe Joe can support me here. I understand that successful galamsey operators get millions and millions of Ghana cedis. I was told recently when I visited Ghana that a 17-year-old boy had built two houses. The guy is 17. I think it's Joe who said it, or somebody else who told me. It's common knowledge in Ghana now. It's 17, not 70. One 7-year-old boy has built two houses because he's a galamsey guy. And this guy must have started when he was 8. Today, we have kids who are 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 who are involved in galamsey. And they get money for their parents and their grandparents, and they are very comfortable. Their parents support these things. This is a national disaster that any government in power must do all in their efforts to ban that. And in fact, we have Ghana Armed Forces. I remember that. I've said that over and over again. Ghana Armed Forces are there to support border guards people. They are there to support and to make sure police this galamsey business and stop it. It can be done. It can be done. It's just like going for a visa. If you don't go through the right channel, you won't get a visa. You are not going to travel where you want to. At the same time, anybody is arrested for galamsey, and the punishment is at least 50 years, you would think twice before you go in. At least 50 years imprisonment, you would think twice, because you can't. After all, we are humans. Nana Akufo-Addo is a human being just like you and me and Joe.
Yes.
If the laws of Ghana say if you are arrested, you are caught in this exercise, you go down for 50 years, so be it. It's just like a capital punishment. If you kill, you will be killed. No. How many people will stop doing that? Dr. Morton, I'm telling you.
Yes.
You've got to ban it. The punishment must be big that no one can turn around it. If you look at the USA right now, the criminals, murderers and all that, who are on death row, nobody can convince American governor to change their mind. They kill them all the time. They're executed because they killed somebody. I know it's not in all states, but I tell you, we can apply the same sort of laws in Ghana. They're 50 years at least in prison, not 20. 20, they will be laughing. Even 30, they will be laughing. If you give them 50, a young man of 10, 15, 20 years, if you are going to go into jail for 50 years, you are not even sure you come back. But probably you die, you rot and die in prison.
That's
Dr. Morton, I believe this is a perfect submission. That's what we will do. I will campaign for that. 50 years in prison because you are damaging God's water. Nobody can create water. The whole Ghana is not just Pristia, not just Takwa, not just Cape Coast, not just Kumasi. My goodness me. So I think the best way is just the punishment given, at least 50 years in prison.
Okay.
People will stop.
That is an incredible contribution. I mean, if it has to be this tough,
yeah,
how many people were still going to venture into this? So I agree with you finally. But Joe,
yeah, I think nobody will get into it. Nobody want to go for 2 years. But Dr. Martin, you don't look like somebody who want to be in prison for 50 years.
No, I
not
don't.
Even Joe.
No,
not even Joe. Not even me. Seriously.
And so, you think these measures will stop them toughening up?
Not think. I believe. I don't think. I believe it will stop them. Nobody want to venture into that area. 50 years in prison. Nobody will go there.
Joe was saying that the people don't want to do it, but it becomes the only means of survival.
Thank you. It's a point, but I tell you, I don't stop you here. I know a place called Togo, Lomi, next door to Ghana. We told that in Togo, if you steal, they will ask you which hand did you use to steal. You say left, they cut it off and you go away. They haven't even got time for you in prison. They chop your arm off. I mean, that's an example. So fewer people are committing crimes in Togo. Do you understand? We need a harsh legislation laws in Ghana to stop the calamity. Otherwise, it will affect the whole country.
All right, Chairman, I've got Raymond on the line. Hey, Raymond, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Chairman, Joe, when we were growing up, this is everybody's ambition to get money. You know that useful experience. So if there's a way that you could make quick money, you do it, even if you have millions, 61 billion. So, you would say great. Maybe to some, it's natural. Great comes naturally. So, Joe is suggesting that let's find a job for them. One, let's make education accessible to everyone living within the radius of any mining center, mining towns or community. That is priority, education. Now, let's find a suitable job for them that would be a level attractive to get them off Galamsey. Even that, it will still be hard work to get them off because it's lucrative, very lucrative. Like you said, 17 years, build 2 houses. Why would you not do it? I mean, can we afford that? I hear there's a teenager who recently went there for a month or two. He bought a sprinter bag, 314, the latest. So obviously, it's never going to be hungry again. And mind you, those who do mining in Ghana are from the underprivileged. So if you suggest that they should be jailed 50 years, jail for prison is made for correctional purposes. So why would you propose 50 years? Why don't we hold the government in power, push them to do the right thing by putting in some sort of preventable measures that would be suitable for all Tom, Dick, and Harry, rather than these stringent measures. It won't work. If prison works, like you said in America, look at the amount of people who go to prison. They come out and do the same thing over and over again. So it's something that's been broad brainstorming.
Yeah, but Raymond, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Now, this is the case. As we're talking now, there's one demonstration going on here in the UK, and then it appears as if the government is not yielding to these demonstrations or whatever the petition that must have led to these demonstrations. And so how do you say that we have to hold the government in check? How do you hold them in check if they are not listening to you?
But this is why this continuously I keep saying that for Ghana to allow this current government to stay in power till now, that means we're not motivational enough. Look at the atrocities that he's gotten away with. And look, in America, when Trump was doing all these bad things, even conservatives, the Republicans, they rallied against him and moved him out. So it's education. I'll come back to that. It's not going to be 9-day water, but that projection of 50 years will not hold water. Even if you give them instant, what is it called, salary spot, they'll still do it.
Yes, the Kakra, the young guy who Muhammad Abi talk about how gutted he was to have seen that incident. But it's a survival.
I'm telling you, let's introduce farming squad today into the money. You still go on because people are hungry. When you're hungry, you don't care. You don't care. I mean, we've been maybe you have it because maybe you come from a privileged background. When you're hungry, you do everything. There's nothing like chicken. If there is, you see the amount of people who do it. So I've seen people do well things, and if you look at them, they do life policy, and they kill their partners just to make their money. There's property and growing Ghana. People who do it. We'll be next to nothing, my friend.
Blow.
Yeah, I have to listen. Otherwise, I cannot hear them.
Anyway, thank you very much, Raymond, for your contribution to the saga of the Galamsey. Right, Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Let me come to Joe. Joe had a bit of a soft spot for those who could not do any other thing. I'm not saying I agree with Joe that Galamsey is the only option. I mean, people have varieties of work to do, and if probably not a good source of income or lucrative work, people would invent.
In fact, I don't stop you here, Dr. Morton. Joe said exactly what I said in in slightly different ways.
Well,
if you have no choice, no choice, what do you do? If you have no choice, what do you do?
Work you can do in Ghana. There are so many things. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, there don't seem to be that much job out there. And then you see, even if we talk about work, I believe that one must have what it takes, if not just certificates, to be able to acquire a good job or maybe to get into a good job. Now, the question is, how many people have been well educated to fit into academic perspectives, like all these lawyers and the nurses we're talking about and all that? So I think it all boils down to education. Or Chairman, you don't agree with me?
No, I disagree with you, Dr. Morton. Each time recently I've been going to Ghana, I think about three times in a short space of time. Each time I went, the taxis I used where I think about 90% of them were graduates or undergraduates. They have no choice. I'm not saying it's a bad job, but seriously, you're not going to go to university only to be a minicab driver or an Uber driver. That's what I'm trying to explain. I'm not saying it's a bad job. Okay, it tells you there are no job opportunities for such men and women, not just men and women who are now taxi drivers. Otherwise, they wouldn't waste their time going into education in the first place. Do you understand? We have to address this. And other people also, even the young, very young people who are poor, Dr. Morton, in remote areas, not remote areas, poor people from poor families, their grandmother or parents are not able, they do not have jobs to do. There's no social benefits for them, mind you. There's no benefit in Ghana like that. Even though we pay social security introduced by Osajifo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. That's why he brought social security into Ghana, so that if you're unemployed, you get unemployment benefit. NPP, did they accept it? They disagreed when Nkrumah was introducing social security, 1965. Wow. I know, Dr. Morton, you were not born, and Joe was definitely not born. But the point, that's not the point. If you're not born, it's very unfortunate. But I'm telling you, the truth is that when Nkrumah was introducing social security, he copied it from the United Kingdom, London here. He copied it. He didn't create it. He copied it because it was a good stuff. So that if you lose your job, you have unemployment benefit. If you're unwell to go to work, you still got benefit. If you're unwell, you go to hospital, they do not charge you anything. Okay. See, if these things are there, then it will reduce the propensity to go and commit evil crimes to get money. And evil crime, such as Galamsey. Right. Evil crime. Do you understand? So we are all saying the same thing in different. I hope listeners will understand where the discussion that's
Yeah,
taking
but
place now.
for Raymond to have said that, even if you
Doc, I don't know if you will let me come in here.
no, let me
Oh,
come
please.
coming to you. I'm just looking linking Joe this one's question. Raymond is saying that even if you parry them up for firing squad, it wouldn't stop this. It wouldn't scare them.
No. He doesn't know Togo. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. With all respect,
1 minute, please.
he does not know Togoland. Togo next door. If you steal and they catch you, they chop off your hand and you go home. It's
Well,
in
the same
Togo.
thing happened in the
Okay, so when you go to Togo border, go to the border, just bring your windows down and go into town to do shopping. Nobody will attempt to pick anything from your car, because if that person is arrested, his hands will be chopped off, as is done in Saudi Arabia. So I rest my case.
All right, Joe, you're back on it. I was going to say that with the issue of firing squad, I think it's been harsh, though I don't think anybody is suggesting that this is what would be met to you if you try doing illegal. I'm saying, but okay, Joe, come in, please.
Yeah, with the issue of the firing squad and all that, I would only agree with Chairman if only, you see, the point is that he was talking about Togo, but the question is, hands are being chopped off, but are people still doing it? And the answer is yes, there are still some people who are still doing it and their hands are being chopped off because there is no option for them. So we can only propose the firing squad issue when people feel that, oh, Galamsey is too lucrative for me. And so if you give me, maybe you go and do seamstress or go and do barbering, I won't fetch that money that Galamsey is fetching me. So I won't go and do, I will still do Galamsey. Then that one, you deserve your 70, 80 years in prison. But where there is no option, where the state hasn't looked at their plight and they've got children, they've got family to feed. I mean, look, the story Mr. Kitiosin is saying, I have friends. There are people I even owe, with all due respect. They do Galamsey. And sometimes when I'm not that good, I call them and say, Charlie, can you do this for me? They'll do it for me. Some are less than 17 years. And all of them own, they own cars, and not just cars, they own cars, they own houses, they have stores. And they are like the property of the family, because their parents, their mothers, their uncles could not make it. They have been able to make it, and today they are sponsoring the whole family. 17, 18-year-olds, they have the families on their shoulders. You understand? So if we are not giving them any alternative and we just jump into concluding that, look, Galamsey is destructive, and for that matter, let us propose a firing squad or whatever for them, I think it is not fair. I think it is not fair. We need to first of all come to a round table and have an agreement.
I don't think Raymond meant that we should parry them or fire squad. He was saying that even if we threaten them to that extent, it's not going to.
No. He was also in a disagreement with Chairman's proposition that we give them 30 years, and he was like, look, if you give them 30 years, it's not going to help, and that is where I agree with him. And then also, look, this is the problem. This is where I disagree massively with Chairman.
Okay.
In Ghana, there's no job. We all accept the fact that Ghana, there is no job. But when someone is a graduate and doing a taxi, we say it's a menial job. He's not supposed to do taxi. This guy, what's his name? Oh, former Minister of Information. What's his name? Under Kufuor's regime.
Even
the chief of Kufuor's hometown.
Right.
Was he not a taxi driver?
Well, nobody stops anyone from not doing taxi.
PhD holders who are doing taxi here. We rather should be proud that we are having graduates getting into the taxi business, because look, they are enlightened and it helps the business. It helps that it is not like only when you are an outcast, that is where you have to enter into the kind of taxi thing. Look, there are people here, and I said this last time, who are chasing buses every morning as early as 6 o'clock to go and do cleaning, to go and clean toilets. But when they go to Kotoka to see a young boy cleaning the airport, they laugh at them. But we are here. PhD holders are driving taxis. But in Ghana, we feel that when you hold a common degree from any stupid university, you should be in an airport. And that is our problem. That is why everybody is running to do politics.
I agree with you too.
We don't respect any job. We don't have any respect for any job. We feel when you go to school, it is your given right to be in an air-conditioned place. It is your given right
but then
to
again,
work as a minister.
but then again, how do you spend all these money, like the likes of yourself, spending all these money, and then you end up doing something out of context of what you studied? Is it not quite frustrating as well?
Yeah, it then also boils down to the type of education we also have. There are certain questions, so many questions to be asked. If you think there is no job and you go to university to go and do purchasing and supply, what are you going to purchase and what are you going to supply? When you know the state doesn't have that kind of a sector in Ghana. When you go to school to do political science and there is no job in that political science field, what then do you expect? You need to do something that will give you a handy job. We need to do something, and that is why I have a problem when polytechnics were turned into universities. Look, the polytechnics are there to be like that institution that shaping one's craft. If you are a carpenter, and like those are how do you call it? I don't know, whether kokomleme or whatever. Those who are always fighting about imported whatever, those who deal with the cars and those. I don't know them, but they are the people who can go to the polytechnics to learn something, so that when you come out, like instead of having this, sending my brother to go and learn fitting or masonry or all that, they can go to polytechnic, learn that thing from polytechnic, get a certification, and they can do something. You see, if the government were to call all this association of masonry or whatever, association of fitters all together, and government regulates them and say that, look, every person you bring it into that field as a fitter, as a welder, as whatever, government is going to do this for you and all that. You will see the number of people. You see the number of people who will enter into that kind of field. But we think that we all have to go to Legon, we all have to go to tech, and so in Ghana now, if you go to polytechnic,
sorry,
you fail the exams.
Chairman wants to go and leave just between me and you, and then somebody else. But can we just allow him to have his last word?
All
right, Chairman. What do you want
thank
to say?
You, Joe, and thank you for Dr. Morton. It's a very, very interesting and productive debate we are having. We were considering ways and means by which we would stop the galamsey. The cardinal point here is that it does not, the galamsey damaging our water bodies does not help any Ghanaian at all. And that's why I suggested that the best way is to make the punishment severe to discourage people from getting involved in galamsey. Let's face it. Go to Accra. If you're in Ghana, you want to come to the UK, you can't just bulldoze your way into the airport and come here without a visa. You can't. You can't at all. The rules are there.
And Chairman, that's the alternative to go to the embassy.
The restrictions are tough. I'm giving just an example. The restrictions are tough in Accra that if you do not get the visa, you are not even going to get on the plane. And that prevents you from traveling all the way here, as an example. That's what I'm saying, that if the punishment is severe, for instance, so many years in prison, you would think before you go in there. But the main problem is the Ghana government. This is what we are going into coalition to address. That's the PPP, PNC, CPP. We are thinking, we know that there's something we can also do to help Ghana. It's not just relying on two parties whose tenure of office created galamsey in the first place. Do you understand? So I understand what Joe is saying. That's why I gave it as a reference.
If you look at what you see, the CPP and PPP coming together, do you think is going to be able to face these two parties right away? Or you think
of course, yes. We will sit and talk. Do you understand? We don't believe in pride. We sit and talk and make decisions and make sure that, of course, if we have the power, why not? We will deliver it. Myself included. Other members also included, because we are facing the disaster in Ghana. Throughout all parts of Ghana. And having said that, we must create atmosphere for job creation in Ghana.
Okay.
That's the problem for NDC and NPP. Because if people are fully engaged in employment and all that, you are not going to go behind the scenes to be doing illegal things. You won't go do illegal. If you're a bank cashier, one is a bank cashier, you are not going to shut off and go to do Kalamsi when the customers are waiting to collect their money in the bank. There must be gainful employment. Government, we've got opportunity to create gainful employment for the masses. We are not. That's why I use the example of graduates even being reduced to minicab drivers, and I make sure I spoke correctly that I'm not saying minicab is a bad job. But let me just give in some experience that no one in their right mind will attempt to go to university with a view to be a minicab driver. No one in their right mind, no one person in Ghana will do that. That's why I said necessity is the mother of invention. So once you are there, you got that test, then you can do anything to stay on the surface of humanity. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not condemning minicab. After all, when I go to Accra, they move me about. Otherwise, I cannot drive in Ghana anyway. Do you understand? So the matter we are criticizing, we are discussing is very important. Let's think about it. So I will stop. And I said, my party and PNC and CPP, we coming together, we will form policies that are implementable. There are so many opportunities open for us. How many of us have not done economics in our lives? In secondary schools and all that. Even secondary school students, they don't understand economics. To get economics to work, applied economics is the problem of NDC and MPP.
Yes.
Because job creation is there for us to delve into. But those of us who have got the brains have not got the power. And those of them who have got the power have not got the brains. The brains are in PNC, CPP, MPPP. Thank you very much, Joe.
Thank you. Chairman says he came in to submit this particular submission to let you understand that they're coming back. Joe does not seem to see the confidence in this amalgamation in a merging.
No, dog, please. You see, the point
that
is
was just my observation to I realized about this.
The point is that we would all be happy. We would all be happy.
Jocelyn, I'm tired. I'm afraid. I see myself nodding off a little bit, but I had to get here as early as possible before my CEO hang on my next. Right. So now we are still on Hits Africa Radio, and we're talking about the very demonstration that is the latest one here in UK. Now, my worry, my concern is this. We've had a few way back in Ghana already, and then we've had a couple of them here in the UK. Now, it looks as if we only do the demonstration, and then we left back to sit on our feet, just like that. We had the receiving it, and the government does not act. Now, if you heard about Mr. Free, he said today, if nothing happens, we're going to break down the doors of the Ghana High Commission. Is it necessary? I mean, there are so many things that we need to worry about, apart from just the Galamsey. Now, the school feeding program, there's education, the employment, and all that. Now, my concern again is the very people behind these Galamsey, as I mentioned, like Chairman Buntumi, are these government officials. And so, if we're going to look at how to deal with them, what can we do? Is it just the demonstration that is not yielding any results? Or should we maybe, I'm wondering how a citizen can just take the government to court, even if where your petition is not being met. Anyway, Joe, so we become very defenseless with our submission.
Yeah, Doc, before I come to that, if Mr. Kitiosin, CPP, PPP, PNC are coming into a kind of an agreement to wrestle power from the NDC and the MPP, it's a welcomed idea because it gives an alternative kind of a solution to the problems, because knowledge can never be alone in the minds of NDC and MPP, and so it is a welcome thing. But you see, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah had something. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah wanted the white man, the black man, the Ghanaian to believe in Ghana and to believe in the black man. And so if you want to believe in the black man, you need to believe that it is a good idea that we have PhD holders driving a taxi. That is what makes us feel that, look, we have developed that kind of mentality. Because, look, I want to see a Ghana where you can be a taxi driver and you can be a chief like the Otumfo and the Ochehene. Because Ochehene was a taxi driver. This guy, I keep forgetting his name. He was the former information minister who has been a taxi driver in Ghana and become an information minister before. Even an assemblyman, they will not vote for you because you are too menial. But he came from America as a taxi driver to become the information minister of Ghana.
Right.
We need to believe that every job in Ghana is good and that
in the UK.
Chairman, let Joe land, please.
Oh no, just like that, because I'll be going off. Kwame Nkrumah was washing plates, a kitchen porter here in London.
So Kwame Nkrumah, that's what he's saying. Kwame Nkrumah was that kind of. And so, if we want to believe in the Ghanaian, if we want to see Ghana working, it is a matter of we even advocating that, look, there are no jobs. Of course, the government has failed. We all know government has failed us. And so, it is not for you to put your hands in your laps and tell me you want to do political science. What job is political science in Ghana? Well, there's political science in Ghana, and so you do political science, so you need to be a minister of whatever. Where does it work? It don't work like that. We need to also know what kind of courses we are doing in this country. You, doctor, you know, in this country, jobs, courses that are you can use your hand to do. It fetches more than being a minister of in parliament.
I tell you,
I had a mate who was just an intermediary electrician, and how much he's earning, doctor, is 3 times my wage. Just an intermediary, he's just at the college doing electrician. The amount he's making. Ghana, tell tech student to go and do electrician. Will tell me, I hold the degree. How can I go and do electrician?
Okay, I better go. I better go.
Chairman. Thank you very much, Chairman Yelson, for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Now, coming to your question,
who is thumbing us up with the reflection of the fire burning? I've got King Mazito, who says GH. That means Ghana, Miniano. And then Jocelyn, who is watching me critically as I nod off here and there. Right, that's a Facebook story. We've got about 10 minutes past, 13 past 12. Hopefully by 12:30 or something, will be done. I've got a message from somebody says, Joe, I agree with you 100%. This sent straight from Streatham, my friend George on my phone, say, yeah, I agree with Joe. In fact, how do you want people to survive if they have families and children and, the parents and all that? Joe, if we stop Galamsey or get these harsh measures on people doing Galamsey, how are their families going to survive? And so somebody's agreeing with you.
Yeah, and you see, I am not talking just for the fact that I've been privileged enough to be called on this show to talk. I am talking because I have an experience in this. And my education as being an Absunian would have been cut short if I had not engaged in Galamsey in 2001. And so this is a life experience I'm sharing. I know there are a lot of other Ghanaians who are having the same situation. Because to me, if me as someone, me in my education, my basic education, if I tell you the grade I had, then someone will say you shouldn't have done Galamsey because you had a good grade. Why do you go and do Galamsey? Yes, but that is the humility in me. I don't see anything as useless. So far as I have to do it to achieve an aim, I have to. And there are many other people who have an aim to achieve. These guys I'm talking about, there is a guy now who has sponsored his brother to the US. He's a Galamsey guy. His brother is in the US Army now. You understand? So the issue is that for me, I do not subscribe to the destruction of the environment. I do not. But then the question is, they say there is a saying in the local adage that you do not allow the stick to lie down there while the animal plays with you. We have seen that Yetisikaso. Now coming to me, I mean continue Sikano. And in any case, we are talking about Galamsey.
Okay, so I've got Mr. Raz J, who is on the show this afternoon. Good afternoon,
But would you let me land and then he comes?
No, I'm only welcoming you to say that you're going to hold on for Joe to land. Just welcoming you on the show. Okay, Joe.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Joe, finish yours, and then I'll get Mr. Raz.
Yeah. So I welcome Mr. Razjay onto the program. He's one discerning mind and very intellectual in his submission. But what I'm trying to say is that for me, I would only jump on that argument when I have seen government sit down on a round table with stakeholders and engage them in what are the ways we can do to stop these boys. And let me tell you, doctor, and this is the problem. You have not been involved. There are a lot of people. There are a lot of people who die in the Galamsey. You know.
Well, so you're talking about the risk involved in the Galamsey, that people who die.
A huge risk. Underground, sometimes they dig to go underground and they don't come back. Sometimes 15, 20, sometimes they will be somewhere in a hill and the hill will break on them. A lot of people die. Do you think someone will just wake up thinking that if I go under that place, I will die? He will go there. He will go there. It is the situation that has pushed him there. And so if we sit down to have a negotiation and say, look, this is the alternative. This is what government can do. And after this alternative, you are all supposed to be engaged in that alternative. If then you are found to be engaging elsewhere, then the 30, 40 years people are proposing can work. But now I will not support anyone proposing 20, 30 years for anyone engaged in Galamsey just because we see that the waters have turned green. Look, ask yourself, the waters have turned green. It is okay. Do you know the number of people who die because we go to hospitals and there are no beds? Who is stealing that money? Today, Ken Oforiatta, how much is he worth? How much is the deputy finance minister worth? How much is Akufo-Addo's children worth? But we are not talking about that. But do you know the number of people who are dying because there are no beds, because corruption has eaten into all the state's resources? But we are only interested in talking about how Galamsey has turned water into. Do you know? Last time I told you a story of a woman who was pregnant with twins. And they dragged this woman. When she was sick, the medicine they were looking for was less than £10 in UK money. The woman went to Kolebu, that drug was not there, and the woman died with the twins. For that one, we don't see anything about it. We are not talking about it. But the ministers and the people in state institutions who are sniffing all the money, the money that is missing due to corruption, we are not talking. That one is not destructive. But Galamsey is the only destructive thing. Look, it is all as equal as any other thing. They are all important. We need to look at them. And that issue of you saying that the government is not yielding to the demands and the demonstration cannot go anywhere. Look, it is a wrong perception. In Ghana, one of our problems is when an issue arises, we take sensationalism into it, and then we all jump on the bandwagon in talking about that. Within 2 days, the conversation.
Yeah, Mr. Razjay, can you hear you?
Yeah, so within 2 days, the conversation dies off. But the problem is, Doc, you have lived in UK. How long was the conversation sustained in getting Boris Johnson out?
Well,
we need to sustain the conversation. If the conversation is meaningful, we need to sustain it. And so these people who are embarking on this Galamsey demonstration, kudos to them, until they find out that government has implemented an alternative livelihood for people who are engaged in this Galamsey. To also find another means of living. They to sustain the conversation. Even if I'm coming, just a second. Even if we need to,
you're not going to go anywhere. You're still here.
Even if we have to break the doors of ambassadors in Ghana and in UK here, we have to do it until government provides an alternative. And then last, before I go, if we are subscribing punishment, there has to be a political will, because today we know who is engaged in Galamsey. But where is the will to prosecute him? Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Razjay. You had Joe and what he was talking about. You had his concern that apart from, okay, no problem. Maybe where you are, you would hear, so no problem. All I'm trying to say is this morning were you on the grounds of Belvedere Square?
I am still on the grounds.
Oh, okay. How is it going now?
We're done now, but I'm just waiting to finish with it before I go on the subway.
Right. So I spoke to Mr. Priye, and then I spoke to Sabato. All of these are MDC communication members. And then you had about a few concerned Ghanaians who also raised their petitions. Question is, do you feel this petition is fulfilled?
The petition is being handed over to the High Commissioner who represents the government over here. But here is the case. Okay, it's not the first one of this kind. Now the issue is the government does not pay attention. You know, many of these are done. Even currently, when you look at the votes of censure going on, you can see how they've put certain ministers on the table and they're just railroading the program. We need Ghanaians that stand up and speak the truth. We need Ghanaians that stand up and do the right thing. It is about doing the needful. That is what is most important. When you have people that stand up for the right thing, but you have people that consistently, blindly try and look out for the wrong things and look at how to stifle the truth from coming out, this is one of our major problems, the hypocrisy. This is the issue. There's so much information, there's so much evidence that is out there that shows all the malfeasance that has been undertaken by the current finance minister. But because of family ties, because people want to be hypocrites, you can see people that are trying so much to make sure that the truth does not come out. Now, as Ghanaians, we need to ask ourselves the question, are we interested in the state of this nation or not? It's the country we're fighting for. Because when you talk about water bodies, it is not NDC people that suffer from the water bodies. It is both parties and other citizens who do not even have any interest in what's going on. But we need our water. When our cocoa sales are going to be stifled, and Belgium and other countries are going to stop buying our cocoa, it is the whole country that's going to suffer. So this is not an issue where we need to be playing partial games. We need to be playing partial games. Find people, my two senior communicators that came on Young Temfuye and Sabato, I'm sure they made probably similar suggestions because people are standing up for the truth, but other people are standing by nonchalant, hoping or thinking that this is something that's going to be segregated. There is no petrol pump known to me in Ghana that serves NDC people differently. There is no petrol pump that serves MPP people differently. So when we speak about taxes that are being collected but are not being accounted for, we speak about things that are being done. And every time the Auditor General report comes out, all it points to is malfeasance. If all it points to is money that is missing, that's not being about. We are suffering. And we do not feel the need to hold people accountable. We have a president that is finding it so difficult to let go of one person. And an outcry and so much piled up evidence against this person. You ask yourself why. This is the finance minister that has come on and said he's not taking any salary. But we all know what he's been benefiting. If you're doing a job for free and people don't like you, why is it so difficult to walk away?
Yes. I agree with you. Yes. Yes.
What is the difficulty? Your claim is that you're working for the state. You don't want to abandon your kids. You're not taking any salary, but you are not able to walk away when there's an outcry. Against your health issues, which is a private matter that we don't even need to go into. If there is even 3 people complaining about you and you're doing a job for free, you should be able to lift your hand and go.
Is there an issue of majority?
You don't need a majority. You're doing a job that you say you're not taking salary for.
Yes.
You're doing a job for, you don't seem to appreciate what you're doing. Put your hands up, put your books up for the scrutiny, hand over nicely. That's all you need to do. I do not seem to see what the complication is in this issue. But then again, you have people, somebody like Komanta here, who's been in parliament for so long. And it makes us sad. So you ask yourself, why do people speak against certain elders? All of these elders, all they have done is to demystify the myth that we all had when we were growing up, that every adult is the most sensible person. Now we know it's not true. Even putting him on a committee like that, a serious committee that is supposed to be doing things for the country, it's shambolic. It's a flawed decision. You have somebody as young as Dr. Zanako Ajimai Rawlings sitting down, Dr. Kujato, spewing sensible facts, putting documents and backing what they're saying. And you have somebody who's supposed to be the co-chair being disrupted, reaching over, touching people's mics, telling them it doesn't matter, acting
as if he is with the person who's supposed to be providing information and not somebody who's on the side of trying to obtain information. This is so obvious. I mean, why do we need to go through this as a country? I said this on your show a month ago. I don't turn up, or I'm not going to be turning up now to be asking anybody who votes NDC do this. If you're a diligent person, if you know what's going on, you look around, you assess what's going on, you make a decision that benefits you, make a decision that benefits the collective as the nation. Other people have come, build hospitals, build roads, build infrastructure that benefits everybody. But if you are a person that is okay to watch whilst one family benefits, but pile debt on the country that makes everybody suffer for the next decade plus into the future where we don't know what's going to go on next. There's been evidence of books being cooked, evidence of figures submitted in the budget, which is an official document, on the House of Parliament, which is a crime on its own. And the different figures being submitted to, organizations outside the country. There is no respect for the Ghanaian citizen. There is no respect. But because of cowardice and greed, satisfaction for some people, they are into the short-term goals. So they will rather take an envelope today and pretend nothing matters. We are all going to suffer. Some are going to suffer more than others. When the realization comes on them and they realize that their questioning or their decisions that they took was wrong, living with your own conscience is even going to be more worse than the people that actually stood up for the right thing. Because when you stand up for the right thing, you can live with the consequences of it. But when you're a fake person and you do things like this, when years later you're going to live with it, you will suffer for a long time. Nobody's going to die. Everybody's going to live. And all this will unravel in real time. A minister on that commission, who there's been allegations of the illegal mining being done against, and he's there. You can see. All he's doing is objections. All the objections that have come out, I do not think, with my understanding of legal issues and what the job of the committee was, there should not be people objecting to question is being answered by the person who's supposed to be providing information. I thought the committee was supposed to be obtaining information so they can come to a sensible conclusion after they hear from the person that's in the box. But then you have people saying, oh no, he shouldn't answer this question. What is our real goal as citizens? When you are appointed that you should represent the populace in ensuring that the right thing is done or ensuring that we get information to be able to do the right thing. There's a lot of questions we need to be asking ourselves. There's a lot of questions. And when you have people that mount platforms, people that have microphones, and consistently praising, on this very show 3 months ago, you had Kofi Asante praising this very finance minister. If you remember.
I do, yes.
And he asked me the dumbest question of all that anybody should ask anybody on air, that when did I come to England? What work have I done? Do I know what kind of Royata has done? What Royata has done is what we are experiencing now. So now you say you're an educationist, you're an economist, selling pamphlets to people way back, forcing it. You are here praising it to a man who has brought the country to its knees, but you want to be seen as a superior brain. Time is a beautiful gift. Time, like I always say, exposes everybody. Time exposes everybody. Anybody that lies and tries to bring the country down, time is all we need as people. Time. That's all we need. It is not about emotions. It is not about anything else. But time will make sure.
Right. Let me ask you this. Before you came in, when we're concerned about, the number of times we have the Galamsey in Ghana, both here abroad as well. And we always still at the standstill. Nothing seems to come up after the demonstration. It doesn't make it. What I'm saying is, with the number of times we had demonstration regarding other issues, today we're specifically on Galamsey. My question is, if we are not getting the very feedback we want or what we expect the government to yield up to is not happening, what is the essence of the number of times we have to do demonstration then?
There is no reason why anyone should be quiet because the message is not out there. Now, the hypocrites who do not come out, who are also suffering. Now we are at a point where our water bodies are almost all gone. You know about Belgium and their statement about our state of cocoa and what them going to stop buying. Ghana was known for cocoa. Cocoa was the #1 producer. But gradually we have come down. Now because effects of galamsey, our cocoa is being tainted. The very Chinese people that have come to do the mining have now started planting cocoa in their place, and very soon will have surgers. They are doing that with the help of Ghanaian expertise. So you ask yourself, why do we take leaders? It does not need free. It does not need certain figures to just stand up for the truth all the time. It affects all of us. Nobody stands to benefit from a river. Nobody can own a river. The river flows, it brings us water. Whether I like you or not, we can still feed from the same river. So when we stand up and because of partisan politics, we refuse to see the truth, it is just absurd. I always say that people are not diligent enough. That is why sometimes the anger in the system is very low, and somebody will make a comment like, oh, maybe you like politics. No, maybe when you are thirsty and you can't get any water to drink, your kids start developing all kind of diseases alongside my children. I might be lucky. I might be able to go cross over to Ivory Coast for medical treatment. You might not. So when we speak together because today it will benefit everybody. People need to follow issues. People need to know what's going on so that the right decisions are made. We take people into positions of power so we can hold them accountable at the same time. We don't put people in positions of that servitude so that they can lord it over us and say things like we are lucky to have them. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. We need to separate the person from job and accountability so that we don't have people saying, why do you question this person? He's old. If an old person is doing something wrong in a position that he's being paid for by your money, you have every right. Every right. Anything I do that impacts you, you have every right to speak about.
Right.
Is the reality on the ground.
I think you've answered my question.
We start doing the writing and knowing that this is not just an NDC issue. The people that sat by when e-levy was being pushed and the NDC parliamentarians were fighting against it. These very hypocritical MPs in MPP that were saying, no, do this and do that and let the e-levy pass. Today, they are standing up against Ken Oforiatta. There is no new information on Ken.
Well, so at least
all the information was there. So were they lying at the time or did they just wake up? Because if they just woke up, it means that they were taking salary for a job that they were not doing.
No, at least they've giving you back the stone to have, say that
they have not acknowledged that. They have not acknowledged that, Doctor. I'm a very fair person. Yes, they're doing that. They're attempting to do the right thing now, which even that is questionable because they have walked it back and said things like they will not support NDC MPs against Ken. It is not NDC MPs against Ken. It is NDC MPs standing up for the right thing. If you think you feel the same way, you just join hands and save the country. That's what you do because your constituents are not there because of Ken.
Well, so
75 people, it's not that many.
Well, so the very people who were, did not yield or did not agree with what you were seeing, now they're saying they also joined the queue to get rid of Ken Oforiatta. And
they said that they went for a meeting and they came back and said they've changed their mind.
Oh, so right. So
follow the issues. They came back and said
now
they had a meeting with the president and the president had asked them for extra time so that Ken could read the budget and finish the deal with the IMF.
Well,
IMF,
so
as far
as I'm concerned, it did not tickle Akufo-Addo at all, as if he was going to do it, because he's already made us understand that initially Ken performed fantastically. I mean, he was excellent. That's the word he used. And so it's become a very big hurdle to jump as president. He still stand on his feet. He's going to keep this one. So he still wouldn't change anything anyway.
I've said on your show before, and I'm sure a playback will break that up. Zacchaeus cannot sack Ken. He cannot. If it's going to happen, they're going to have a backdoor meeting. They will agree how to go about it. You saw him fake sleeping 3 days ago by controlling his neck movement. I'm sure it's just a foundation to lay a premise to jump out on a plane and go out of the country for medicals.
Right.
This
so
is going to play out how they want to play out.
Let me look at land for me in about 2-3 minutes. Let me look at Joe's version as to how we see of Akufo-Addo. That what does he think? Is it man going to get rid of?
Martin Amido's West. He is the mother serpent of corruption. Now, I will speak about this Galamsey issue. Every government has faced problems with Galamsey on a certain scale. This is the only time where the illegal mining is being done and backed by government appointees that makes it a problem for the government to tackle. Where people get arrested and machines get arrested, and all you hear is, oh, it is this woman's organizer, it is this MP, it is this regional minister. This is the difference this time, the unprecedented level of corruption and how far the country has stood so low because of poor leadership. We have a person that's supposed to be a figurehead that is in the seat, but we don't have any leadership. There is no leadership.
Well, that's right.
In a time where we are talking about hardship, we just took 337 people to go onto a climate change conference. We are not serious as a country. And because people don't follow issues, people are not angry enough. People think that demonstrating is the job of one or two people. For who to benefit? The number of text messages I get on a daily basis seeking assistance from people. People are suffering. People are going through hardships through no fault of theirs. These are not lazy people. These are people that put in their work at least to hold their own fort in their own little way. But with every time you wake up, every 2-3 minutes, your money has been devalued. We were all here when there was a lot of campaign done about exchange rates and how it showed. We were here when our finance minister made statements, bold statements about how we as a nation were proud people, how we had homegrown solutions. I always issue receipts. I say this here and anywhere I go. So the homegrown solutions have failed. But we have a finance minister with an FPU stationed, outside his house. What are you doing in your house that you need an FPU outside your house? What does that cost the taxpayer on a daily basis? For a man who is not taking salary, who finds it so difficult to leave a job that he's doing for free. It's mind-boggling.
How can you?
I don't even think I could explain this to a 5-year-old kid.
Well, maybe for the passion of it. Maybe for the passion of it.
And they say, no, I have to do it for you.
Maybe he see his performance differently from the view of the public.
How you see your performance? You're doing it for free. The person you're doing it for does not appreciate it.
Well, the man has the whole president of the country believing in him, and so what do you expect?
If I'm doing something for you for free and you upset me, I will walk away.
All right, let me look at Joe's view over this thing. What's his name? Ufuriata.
It's time you woke up. Wake up to the issues. Follow issues through and dig for information so that you know who is hoodwinking you. The likes of people like Mr. Hammond, whose law credentials are also under scrutiny currently because certain utterances and behaviors make mockery of education. We need to think very carefully when we vote for people to represent us, not just to be voting for friends, but vote for people that are diligent, people that can do the job, people that are ready and have the capability to deliver what they are being asked to do, so that tomorrow we should not be in this position. This situation that Ghana has found itself in, never again.
All right.
Never again.
I think this is where I'll leave you to pick up Joe, and then we'll speak some other time. From the look of things, if you go under the underground, I don't think we're going to reach you anymore until the program comes to an end.
You carry on. I'll see if I can catch what Joe say.
All right, Joe.
Okay. Yeah, Doc.
Yes. Now I want to look at. Do you also believe Akufo-Addo cannot get rid of Oforiatta?
Oh yeah. Let me congratulate Raz J and his people for the demonstration. I think
you should have been at the demonstration grounds yourself.
Unfortunately, even yesterday I was in Manchester, and then coming back home late, there was no way I was going to be able to get to London at that time. But I think it is important, those of us Ghanaians also outside London, we also need to do something. Because look, it's not only every day about protesting and sending petition to the Ghana High Commission in London. Sometimes we can do our own small bit wherever we find ourselves. And so we'll look at it. Those of us who are interested in the affairs of Ghana would also look at it and see how best we can.
Anybody who didn't come out from his house or does not make his views about Ghana is not interested in the country?
Well, it's not about that. You see, this is where the issue of the NDC and the MPP comes in very strongly. In as much as I have much respect to the NDC and I have soft spot for them, I don't think if it were the NDC MPP doing it, the NDC would join. That is
okay. So let me hit you on the nail.
Yeah.
Do you think PPP, CPP merging or amalgamation is going to make any difference?
Well, their merging is good. Every they say a journey of 1,000 miles begin with a step. I mean, they merging today doesn't mean that tomorrow they are going to form the next government. That is a 1 to 10 million kind of thing.
Well, Chairman, your son is very certain if they merge today, tomorrow.
Well, and that is why he is part of that coming together. He is there to believe. He has his own right to believe and to assume that they can form the next government. But the reality is what we all have to be confronted with. And the reality is that even if they merge today, it is going to take them probably the next 10, 15 years before they come to power. That's the reality. You understand? But then,
I don't think you're a loyal man to CPP, man.
No, I am. The only thing is that for me, I have my integrity to protect. And so I do not want to be contradicting myself.
No. Okay. Sorry. We're going to spend it very soon. If you want to wrap it up, let's go, please.
Yeah, please. Please give me some 5 minutes.
Okay.
What I am trying to say is that, look, in as much as this demonstration is a good thing and all that, I support it and I want it to go on and on and on until a solution is found. But then, in as much as we are having that rallying call for people to join and all that, we also have to stare in the mirror and ask ourselves, if it was the other way around, would we be there? Would we be there? We have that attitude of labeling. And that today, the MPP people think it is the NDC doing this against their government. Tomorrow, if NDC is in power, the NDC people here who are now demonstrating today, their voice is very loud. They will say they are demonstrating against their integrity we don't have. That is the integrity. So today, those who are making rallying calls, they should record themselves. Tomorrow, if another thing happens and it is a genuine call that people are also asking that we need to demonstrate and the NDC finds itself in power, we should all also join. We should all also come on radio and let us not think that one is good, the other is bad. If it is good today, it should be good tomorrow. If it is bad today, it should be bad tomorrow.
Goose and the gentleman.
Understand? We've all seen how KT Hammond has been behaving in that committee. But we've seen when Ablakwa was talking, we see how Haruna was trying to back Ablakwa down. That one, nobody is talking about it. That one, nobody is talking about. When Gabi tried to downplay Ablakwa, and Ablakwa was trying to defend his integrity and defend himself about someone coming into his house to tell him what to do. We saw how Haruna Idrisu was trying to stop him from talking. That one, we are not talking about it. We should not be taking sides. If we love Ghana, we need to have a clean heart. We need to have a heart that is made of Ghana, a heart that is Ghanaian, and that we should not have a heart that has only finds comfort when NDC is in power or when MPP is in power. That way, we can never build Ghana to that point.
All right.
Now on Ken Ofori-Atta. Look, right. Nana Akufo-Addo, Nana Dankwa, Nana D, Nana the private jet man, please, we beg you. You've done enough. 6 years, whatever amount of money you wanted to have, you've had it. All the properties you sold in UK here, your father's properties you sold, you've gotten them back. Even to the extent that when your father was in power, you didn't have any property. But when you are in power, your children have property. We know all of this. Enough is enough. The family has gained all that it has lost. We will not even call for the next government to prosecute you and your family members. Take it. Just finance minister, just do this for us. This all that you see, the man is so pompous, the man is so like, and I keep saying he's so petty, and that he doesn't even want to do it for people to say, oh, the NDC or Ghanaians called for the sacking of the finance minister, and he has sacked, and so he's bought into the ideas of he doesn't even want to do it. He's so arrogant. It is wrong. We don't do that. At least Nanado. For me, there is no legacy. There is nothing Nanado is going to leave out of office that I'm going to remind myself of. And so for this little,
what about the lavatories, toilets, and that? It's still going to remind
the toilet is from Kufuor, so you cannot label it as a Kufuor achievement. The toilet is Kufuor such a hypocrite went into toilet. So for the toilet, you cannot label it as a Kufuor. That is
I think
the tradition of the MPP is building toilet.
You're the same person who's the only thing you're going to remind him of Kufuor is the toilet. Now you're saying he's not done anything.
No, I said I'm going to remind myself of the MPP as being the builders of toilets. For that one, it's a fact.
But not
nobody,
Nanado's regime doing it.
Nobody can contest Akufo-Addo, the MPP
All
for
right.
building toilets. The NDC, let me tell you, the NDC, when it comes to infrastructure, you can never contest the MPP for toilet building. That one,
I sent you something that Mahomia said about the NPP. Remember? All they've done, all the NPP has done.
Who is he? Who?
Mahomia.
Is he in Ghana?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I remember I sent you something Mahomia has done, and then.
Oh, okay. Maybe I didn't know him. And I didn't know he was in Ghana. But you see, the point is that Nanado has the last chance to redeem a little bit of integrity, if only he even has any, and that is to heed to the call of Ghanaians. And like Rajay said, if you are doing something to somebody and the person you are doing it for, and in this case, it is a free service you are rendering to the person, and the person says, I don't like it.
Well,
why do you still insist?
Some people don't realize how good you are till you being to them, so he has to do it.
And for me, Doctor, I want to end so you can go. For me, I have no shred of trust for these MPP people who woke up and say, we want the finance minister sacked. I told you that, look, they were doing it because they wanted to avoid the booing and the hooting in their constituencies. And so they avoid that so that when they go, they will be seen like, oh, we are even asking the finance minister is the one who is making us suffer. In any case, the policies that the finance minister is implementing, who brought that policy? Kwesi Kwarteng implemented whose policy? So when Kwesi Kwarteng goes, what happened to the person who brought the policy?
Okay, thank you. Now let me break it down to
minister,
what do you say somebody offering some services free to people, like your child, for example. If you take him and trying to take a bath of him and then bath him and he's not yielding to that, he's not accepting you bath. He doesn't seem to see how the essence of you bathing him. And so maybe kind of Ferrata don't seem to understand that he's not rendering a vague service. He thought maybe he's helping us.
And you see what you are saying, my daughter, Nanaya, she would never want me to bath her or to even brush her teeth. She would prefer
I'm
her
talking
mom.
about a stage when she doesn't know what it means to get her teeth back, especially in a very tender age. But
yes. I'm coming to that answer. I'm coming to answer you. That is why we are where we are, because the finance minister is like a toddler. The whole government is like a child's play, and that's why they have no use. They have no belief in what.
Thank you very much, guys. It's another edition of
the child's play. Anyway, thank you for
UK
having me.
Newsfile. I'll see you hopefully by the end of this next week. Do have a good weekend. Thank you very much.
You too. Take care. Thanks.
Yeah.